Good morning, folks. We're here again for the February edition of the Evangelist Talks. So this month, what are we talking about? Let's save money.
Oh, yes, definitely after the January blues.
Oh, yeah, too right. And everybody's complaining about electricity and gas bills.
Oh, definitely.
So what we're actually doing is looking at products which you may not actually know about, but they're available today. And if you use them in the right way, they will help to cut your bills. As in the past, we just took it for granted that these things were always available, or, the gas supply was always there, the electricity supply was always there. And for the past 5-6 years, we've actually had really cheap prices. And because of that, to be honest with you, some people have dropped the ball. Take, for example, relying on one big supplier for all of Europe. Oh, shall we mention Russia?
Let's leave them out of it.
Yeah, exactly. But everybody just sort of thought, oh, it's just cheap. We'll still just keep on taking and taking and taking.
Yeah.
What they didn't do, or what they did do, was actually they reduced their storage capacity as well. And whenever things got a little bit rough, well, there wasn't enough storage to keep on feeding us.
Yeah.
But that's a very simple version of stuff that's been going on.
And I think people as well, they get used to being able to use a certain amount of that energy when it's cheap, because you think, well, it's fine, I can afford to have the heating on, the lighting on, and all these other pieces of equipment all through the day at a fantastic cheap rate. But then actually when the price starts creeping up, people's behaviors don't change, so they still expect to be able to get the same volume of energy usage, but they can't afford the prices. So we need to look at actually how can you reduce how much you're using, because let's face it, there's nothing any of us can do about the price of it right now.
Yes, yeah. And it's things which some of it is freely available, but we can't store it, such as there might be a wind turbine, but whenever it's not blowing, there's no energy.
Yeah.
But it may be using it or the sun. The sun, whenever it's shining, is brilliant for creating more energy as well. But during the night, again, it's not available. So what do we do? What are the solutions? The one which is actually of real interest to me is a product which a lot of people will not have heard of, but is actually freely available and is existing. It's called a heat battery. And what it effectively does is it stores heat. So it sounds obvious from the name, but you can recharge it from your solar. You can recharge it from heat pumps. You can recharge it from electricity, but you can recharge it from electricity whenever the electricity is cheap. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, setting timers to anything is always a bonus. So being able to actually time the usage and then the income and outgoing supply of a heat battery is a great step forward.
Yeah, because here's another way of thinking as well. A lot of people won't realize, but you can actually get it's sort of like Economy 7, or what used to be the old Economy 7. But for electric cars, you can actually sign up to some electricity suppliers. Currently, I'm getting between 12:30 and 4:30 in the morning for 5 pence per unit. even though my other rate is more like 23 at the moment for during the day, because I've had to renew my electric contract. But if I could charge up the heat battery in the middle of the night, that means I could have a hot house. That means I can have hot water, and it's all at the cheap rate.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's just about, the technologies are out there and they are available, but the knowledge isn't necessarily there and widely available. So if you are in the market to, change your heating system or looking at ways to improve, don't just go with the obvious. Reach out to us and actually have a conversation about what is available and what can save me money, as opposed to just going down those conventional routes that, in the next 10 to 15 years are actually going to be taken off the market anyway, because they're so carbon intensive. So plan ahead now, look at the alternatives, and speak to us and see what is available in your price range that can start saving you money before it gets to crunch time, really.
Yes, definitely. Because we want to help you save money. That's the plain blunt facts about it. And if at all possible, we'll look at the green solutions as well. But it's finding solutions which works for your business. But on the other flip side of that, we're also providing the facility to be able to measure and see what's actually going on in your business. Because the electricity suppliers say 30% of the energy which comes into your business, you actually waste. But if you can't see the detail, if you can't see the business intelligence, because you're able to drill down into it, you can't make the decisions. So we're using a tool called Carbon Expert, which helps us to give you that visibility and helps you to plan forward and reduce your energy usage overall. And hopefully by 2050, we will be helping many, many companies to really pull back on their energy usage just by changing small things. Sometimes those small things will save us an awful lot of money. But putting them all together, that's where the secret sauce is.
Yeah.
So I think that's actually enough for today. If you want to talk with us or, find out a little bit more, have a look at the website or send us an email, and we'll be happy to, to talk through your situation and see what we can do for you.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.